What's up, page turners? Welcome to Writers with Purpose. I'm your host, Melvese from Written Words Publishing. At Written Words Publishing, we envision a world where every storyteller, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to share their voice, shape narratives, and impact the world through the written word. So, if you value powerful storytelling, and I know you do, page turners, because you are here with us, watching us every single week when we come with these authors and these great stories, do me a favor, like this video, follow this channel, subscribe to this channel, share this podcast, whatever platform you are watching on. We are live right now on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Twitch and LinkedIn and Rumble. Yeah. And then you can listen on Spotify. You can listen on podcasts. Apple Podcasts. So we all over the place, y'all. There's no reason for you to miss this wonderful show, okay? And tonight, our guest is Natasha Robinson. I hope I said that right, girl. If I didn't, I'm sorry. We're discussing her powerful book, My Heart is Home. So this heartfelt collection blends poetry, reflections, and personal storytelling as Natasha opens up about grief, miscarriage, emotional healing, and finding hope through faith. Okay, so this conversation, y'all, is going to be real and it's going to be raw, and I'm pretty sure a few of you page turners are going to be able to relate. So let's welcome Natasha to Writers with Purpose today, y'all. Hello, Natasha. How are you doing today?
Good, Melvese. How are you?
I'm great. I am really great. So tell us something about yourself, Natasha. First of all, how do you pronounce your last name? Did I say it right? Pronounce it for me.
No, so I know everyone has issues with it. So it's Memoir-Robinson. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was supposed to ask you that first. Okay. So Natasha Memoir-Robinson, tell us something about yourself.
So I guess just something random. I've been writing since I was probably about 10 or 12 years old, writing poetry. Yeah.
Great, great. Do you do poetry readings, like get up on stage and do
I
performative
do.
poetry, or is it just all on paper? You do?
No,
Oh,
I do. Yes. I love it. It's so exhilarating to just be able to share your art with other poets and other writers. I love going to the poetry slams and different poetry events for sure.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So you one of those poets that read their poems, or do you memorize them all and act them all out? What's your go-to on that? I'm just
Um,
curious.
Lately, I've been like the last couple times I've gone, I've been reading them. But the way I write them or the way they're written in general, they're heartfelt anyways. Um, but no, I don't memorize them. No, I don't
Oh,
memorize
okay.
them.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that, because especially
Yeah.
if you're busy spitting out poem after poem after poem after poem, you can't memorize all that stuff. No, no how.
Yeah, but I find it so interesting when other poets have their poetry memorized and they're just like moving and doing different movements and maybe dancing with it to really bring you into those emotions and what was going on for them when they wrote that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that is pretty entertaining. That's real deep. Well, tell us your purpose for writing My Heart is Home.
So, My Heart is Home was birthed out of a season of grief, of loss. And the purpose was for, I feel like there are a lot of books about grief, of course. There are a lot of books about miscarriage, but I feel like putting faith together with something like grief and smashing it together, putting it into a book, I didn't find many books like that. Not to
Mhm.
say they don't exist. I just didn't find any in doing research, trying to find books on miscarriage and things like that. So My Heart is Home really just I mean, all the ugly, all the messy moments of grief. Specifically, this is book one in the series, My Heart is Home. It's book one, and it mainly focuses on miscarriage grief and walking through that type of grief, and what that can look like. It is not a solution based book to give answers. It is more of a comfort, um, as you walk through that process, knowing that there's somebody that went through the same thing, and there's somebody that sees you in your pain, in your hurting, in all that, and what it looked like for me with my faith alongside a loss like that. Um, so I think
Yeah.
just really wanting to connect those things to readers, connect with them with this subject, grief. Um, that's why I wrote My Heart is Home.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And miscarriage, it's a topic that, many people they suffer through silently. You would never know that someone had a miscarriage unless someone told you or they told you they had a miscarriage. So what made you, why was it so important for you to openly speak about that experience? Because that I've never experienced a miscarriage, but I've have children. I can only imagine what that must feel like. So what made you decide that you just wanted to openly just share that experience with the whole entire world?
I know. Honestly, it was not me. It was definitely God and the Holy Spirit, 100%. Um, when I went through my miscarriage, I felt like physically, mentally, emotionally, and just in every way, I was challenged. I was pushed to my limits. And I just felt I didn't have a lot of support. Like, how do you start a conversation with someone like, hey, so there was kind of that, just, of course, the people closest to me knew, like my mom, my husband, like everything like that. But having those conversations, I found to be kind of difficult because people don't just openly, I mean, some people do, but I didn't see anybody just openly saying, like, hey, here's a miscarriage support group, like, let us help you, process the grief, because I don't know if people are actually acknowledging that there is grief that comes when you have a miscarriage, after you're
Mhm.
praying for a baby, expecting a baby, going through your pregnancy, and then you lose that baby. That is a loss. And I know people have their different opinions and everything on it, but I was just really led as I prayed through the season. This happened within the last 8 months. As I've been praying through the season and just being led, I was led to share this. I'm like, I have to share this. Like, these women that are going through this silently, because I have had women tell me, your book says exactly how I felt. This
Mhm.
said exactly, like, this was what I wanted to say. This is how I wanted to express myself when I went through my miscarriage. So this is, like you said, people are suffering silently. And I think My Heart is Home is giving women that voice, that connection to say, I am not alone. There is hope in this
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah. So you mentioned that, there you didn't see any type of like miscarriage support groups. Did you start a miscarriage support group and like use your book as a, hey, everybody take this, let's read a poem together and talk about how this relates to our experience, something like that? Or have you considered doing that? Because that seems like that might be part of your calling.
It could be. I would definitely have to pray about it. I have not, Melvise. I have not done that. I've just been, recently going through also some health issues, too. So I've been really just kind of checked out. Um, it's been even hard for me to, like, the book number two was supposed to come out last month, but because of all the health issues and the hospitalizations lately, just physically unwell, that got pushed back also. Um, so I would love to do something like that and support women and be there for them and speak life over them and to them through this situation. Because I feel like we need more of that. We need more open conversation. Hey, there is grief that comes with miscarriage. Hey, but also there is hope that is in this grief. that we're feeling, that we're going through, you know?
Yes, yes, and I think the one of the I don't think there's no easy way to get through grief, but a supportive way, a helpful way to get through grief is to be able to lean on somebody who has already experienced the same type of grief that you are experiencing. So with nowadays with everything being digital and electronic, you could start a support group on Facebook, and then after you everybody that wants to join the group joins the group, and allow people the ability to post anonymously if they want to, if they might still feel any type of shame or anything, because of experiencing the miscarriage. Then once y'all get the group going, then y'all can start doing video calls, and you can do Zoom, and they don't got to come off camera if they don't want to. But
Right.
yeah, pray about it, because I mean, God didn't tell me to speak about it right now for no reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
well, well,
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful idea, to have that type of support. And I know there's so many like Bible study groups, and different like women groups I see on like threads and everything like that. So I think that might actually really be helpful for people. I truly do.
yeah, yeah, and then well, so when you went ahead and published the book, do you feel like writing the poems, was that part of your healing process, or was that after you would consider yourself healed, or do you even consider yourself healed from that? Because losing a child is losing a child, and that's a huge grief at any level, whether it be pre-birth or later on in life. So, like, would you say that you are healed from that experience now?
So it's so funny that you asked me that because somebody asked me that the other day, and they inspired me to go and talk about it on TikTok. But when it comes to grief, like you said, grief is not something you just get over. You don't just wake up one day and you're like, okay, I lost this person, or I lost this. Okay, I'm over it. That is not how grief works. Grief just begins to look different because you grow and you evolve. God prunes you. So it looks different for you, but that hurt, that loss that lingers is still there. It just, I don't want to say it doesn't hurt as much because that's not true either. It just looks different. I think that's the best way I can summarize it. And for me, I feel like I am going through a healing journey. I do not feel like I am healed from grief. I don't even know if that's really even a thing. Um, but I feel like I'm going through a healing journey. And it's not just about being healed from the feelings that grief brings, the sadness, the confusion, the anger, the uncertainty. Not that. I think God is like spiritually pruning and healing me through this season of grief. I think that's what's really where I've seen changes, really happening, and things being planted, and flowers blossoming is in my spiritual life through this grief and the health struggles that I've been having, which also actually includes grief, because when you're dealing with health struggles, you're grieving where you once were in your health and where you're not at anymore, you
That's
know so that's another type of grief also that I talk about in book 2 that is coming out this summer.
okay. Yeah, so you mentioned that it was a series. So is the entire series, every book is going to be focused on like a different type of grief? Is that your intent for the whole series, and or you just going with the flow? I don't even know.
So, I mean, honestly, I'm just being led by God. The second book is titled My Heart is Home But Still Aches. It's coming out in a few weeks, and it focuses on losing a sibling because I recently lost my sister, my baby sister. It still touches on miscarriage, but the focus is mainly on the sibling loss and dealing with those health struggles and grieving that, grieving my old self, what it looks like walking through that. Because there are a lot of people walking through chronic illness, acute illness, different illnesses, just in general. And it's changed how they view themselves. And they are grieving who they once were. Um,
Mhm.
physically, maybe, as they go
Mhm.
through those health conditions, because different things start to happen. You may not can do what you used to can do. Maybe you used to be able to walk 5 miles a day. Now you can only do 2 because of your chronic illness. And I think I also am going to be touching on that in the second book, what that grief can look like for some people. And but the point of all this is, yes, I think each book will touch on different types of grief, but I think the main thing is what it looks like finding God in all of that, in the miscarriage, in the sibling loss, in whatever it is, grieving relationships, grieving whatever it is you're grieving or you feel like you've lost, finding God in that.
That was the gem right there. Yes, find God in it. That's the only way you're going to get through it. That's the only way you're going to get through it. You gotta lean on Him. Yes. Oh my goodness. Do you have a poem out of your book that you would like to read for us today? I love when the poets come on here and show up and show out with their poetry. Go ahead and show out for us today, Natasha.
I do actually. I have a piece in the book In My Heart Is Home, and it's titled Grief in My Hands. It is one of the, I think it might have been one of the first like actual poems that was written for the book. Just give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's great. And while you're looking for that, I can testify that I can understand exactly what you're saying when it comes to dealing with some type of illness and grieving your old self. Because I actually experienced that. When I was 25, 25 years old, I started getting attacked by seizures. After 25 years of life, pregnant with my fourth child, all of a sudden I started getting attacked by seizures, and that just changed my whole entire life. I mean, when my child was born, they told me I couldn't give him a bath. They told me you cannot bathe your child because there's a possibility that you would have a seizure and the
Right.
baby would drown. And so I had to have his older brothers, give him a bath, and that was horrible. Can you imagine not being able to bathe your baby?
Right.
So I can clearly resonate with what you're saying about missing your old self. And I battled
Right.
those seizures for 24 years, about 24 years before I was healed. And that, yeah, that old self, and I can definitely relate to that. But yeah, let's flip it back over to your poem if you're ready.
Yes. Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. And yeah, definitely grieving like who you once were physically is wow. Thank you for sharing that. That was powerful. So yeah, the poem is called Grief in My Hands. Um, there I sat, surrounded by darkness. The air was stale. The light from the candle in the middle of the room flickered. All I could hear were these whispers of failure. Something not right, abnormal, miscarriage, imminent. Inside, I'm screaming to all the whisperers. Are you the creator or are you a creation made by the creator? Who gave you the power to predict imminent death of a life you didn't give?
Mm.
The light continued flickering. I walked toward it. I will not be consumed by darkness. The whispering voices continued. It's a loss. The numbers don't add up. Slow growth, miscarriage, imminent. They repeated to one another. By that time, I had made it to the middle of the room where the lit candle was still flickering. I sat down. No tears, no crying out for help. I stared at the light. Peace surrounded me and it comforted me.
Mm. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's deep. I could feel your pain and that and your comfort in that poem right there. Yes, yes, yes. That's awesome. That's great. I just want to put your cover up here. My heart is home. That's a pretty powerful title. What exactly does that mean to you?
So my heart is about, life is going to happen. Tribulations will come. The Bible tells us that. Trials will come. And I think my heart is home means, where is your heart going to find home? Are you going to find home in anxiety? Are you going to find home in depression? Are you going to find home in sickness? Where are you going to plant yourself? And I think my heart is home is about finding your heart, even though everything is going on, all these tornadoes of life, your heart is at home in God's presence, being with God, seeking Him. That is what the title is about. Your heart, realizing that your heart belongs to Jesus, and knowing that no matter what is happening, it is always, that is home. How college kids move away from home, they go to college, they do all this stuff, knowing that they can always go back to their parents' house. My heart is home. God's presence at the altar, wherever His presence is, that's where my home is. That's where my heart finds rest and peace and love and everything that I need to be okay during the storms of life.
That's the yeah. Where is your heart? Where is your heart's home? That's a good way to look at it. I think if everybody took a deep dive into exactly where is their heart's home, yeah, everybody would be in a better place, a real better place. Let the page turners know where they can purchase My Heart is Home.
So My Heart is Home is on Amazon. It's on Apple. I mean, it's really everywhere. It's on Google Play Books. Like, it's everywhere. It's also on Audible. I am actually the narrator of My Heart is Home. I wanted to specifically narrate the book so that readers can really connect with me and how it was meant to be read. So they really get that connection. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, what social media platforms are you on so that everybody who is interested in being a part of that miscarriage support group that God is going to tell you to start, where are they going to find you so they can go and follow you and see when it starts?
So I love doing TikTok videos, inspiration, encouragement. I'm always just sending love and these little nuggets that I get from the Holy Spirit. So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and my name is the same on everything. It's Natasha _R _Rob. Um, and I'm also on Threads, but I'm kind of taking a back seat on Threads right now. But yeah, that's where you guys can pretty much check me out and connect with me. I love connecting and speaking encouragement over everyone and just really bringing them up.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, page turners, let's thank Natasha Minor. I don't know, did I get it right this time?
Yeah. You're
Okay,
close.
Tasha Robinson for being a guest on the show today. And y'all go out, follow her on social media, check out her book. I mean, the greatest, you gotta. It's great to know that somebody else has already been through what you are going through. That gives you the the insight and the encouragement to know if somebody else got through it, you know that you can get through it too. If God did it for them, He can do it for you. So it's
Amen.
always great to have somebody else's experience that you could lean on, that you can relate to, that you could connect to for that support, that inspiration, and that help that you need to get through whatever it is that you are going through. Well, thank you so much for being a guest, Natasha.
Thank you for
And
having me.
yes, thank you. And page turners, we'll see you all on the next episode of Writers with Purpose. In the meantime, keep writing, keep reading, and keep turning those pages, okay? And y'all have a great evening. We'll catch you later. Bye bye.